Geek Out!
You wanted the best, you got me installed. That's another episode of Kiss My Podcast. I'm Jake. Samuel's back as always.
Yeah.
This is luckily your last ride in the hell, buddy. You don't got to do this anymore after this.
You're not doing. I'm not doing any of the post.
No, I'm not.
Stuff?
I'm not gonna make you do all that shit.
Okay.
You're free. Your fucking time is up, buddy.
Yeah. If you need somebody for those last two, let me know.
I mean, I may. But like the last, for now, the last petal has fallen, and you've returned to a prince. You're no longer a beast.
Yeah.
Carnival of Souls, the final sessions, is what we're talking about today. The album I probably, in all honestly, knew the least about. I just never fucking bothered with this
because it was technically only released because they bootlegged it.
Yeah, it's something that Kiss I don't think even ever had any intention of releasing, and
that says something.
yeah, but they released everything in the 80s. Anyway, so let's dive into it here. And we got a little fun thing we're going to talk about before we really dive into the album track by track. But let's start with the basic stuff here, like we do every episode of this very, very influential, very popular podcast. I would say this is probably the most popular podcast ever about Kiss in the entire world. I would say hundreds of thousands of downloads every fucking week.
Not fake news.
Not fake news at all. This is the truest. Released October 28th, 1997. But it was recorded November 1995 to February 1996. What? We'll find out. We'll dive in. Produced by Toby Wright, who worked with Ozzy, Alice in Chains. Wonder where that sound comes from on this album. And Slayer. To name a few. And also produced by Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. Singles, only one, Jungle. And it was so popular, they only say it was released in 1997. They don't even say what fucking month. I would assume October. Some album info, because there actually is some history and important things to talk about with this album. This is the last album to feature Bruce Kulick, unfortunately. Eric Singer won't be around for a while, but he will be back in a big bad way with makeup. We'll hear from him later after this album. But again, I am sad to see this lineup go, though. You know, because I would have loved to have seen what they would have done with a couple more albums under their belt the rest of the decade in the '90s and potentially onward. You know, I don't know how long they would have lasted with the lineup. Who knows? But listen to them on Unplugged, which is, you know, the album before this. There was a compilation album, One of the Best, they did as well before this. But listen to, you know, Unplugged, listen to Revenge to get an idea of how great this lineup is, how tight they sound as a band. But the thing is, the big thing that happens is, you know, the album basically takes a back seat to the reunion of the original lineup and putting the makeup back on. And that all came together during one of the Kiss conventions where Peter Criss was there. It got Gene thinking. I guess he came on stage to, you know, take some pictures and I think play some stuff. And they kind of kept it a secret back then. It was a lot easier to keep secrets without social media and stuff. To basically, during Unplugged, they have Ace and Peter come out to play with the band for the first time in years and years and years. Obviously, the first time all four of them played together in a very long time. And, you know, and Peter there, of course, and Ace being someone who left in the early 80s. Which was cool to see. Like, I'm not bashing the reunion in any way. I think in earlier episodes it might have sounded like I was like, fuck the reunion. No, look, I'm a Kiss fan. It's great to see him back in the makeup, and it meant Kiss was around. You know, I was in 7th or 8th grade at the time. They were everywhere. Tupac fucking introduced them at the fucking Grammys, which is cool to see. But the album was pretty much kept a secret then. They were like, we're not going to release this. There's no tour for it. They didn't fucking... basically just pretend like it didn't exist at all. The album was canceled. And none of the songs have ever been played live. I mean, let's wait a couple Kiss cruises down the line. I'm sure they'll probably play, you know, Hate or something, or Jungle. But
Jungle
it is
being the most likely.
Yeah, but it isn't really until the bootlegs start hitting that Kiss is like, all right, we're going to give you an official release. And so they released the official release of Carnival of Souls, the final sessions. You know, basically, you know, a year later. But the whole thing seems kind of like a mess that the band never really wanted to have see the light of day. And
it's a little uninspired.
It is. It's not their worst, but it's especially in lieu of the reunion, though. It news to return the makeup,
and in lieu of like Revenge.
Yeah. And you know, is in what we're asking ourselves today. Is should it have stayed that way? We're going to find out, Sam. We're going to fucking find out. But album art, nothing special. Now, before we dive in, it's just like a weird stretched out photo of them.
Yeah.
But before we dive in, I want to talk about something that
I like Rubber Soul.
yeah, no, it is. That's something I definitely thought about. But Chris, Mr. Chris, our producer, and who's been on the show for Lick It Up and Geek Out,
Mr. Chris,
main man. He sent me a ClickHole article about how many of these Kiss songs have you heard, and I'm gonna say them without trying to cry from laughing so hard. And you can tweet at us, let us know if you fucking heard any of these, because we're the most popular podcast on the planet. All right, so I'm gonna ask you too, Sam. Shout it out loud if you heard any of these, and let's know your favorite. So
I will rock and roll over.
Okay, here we go. Let's Rock Like It's Easter. Classic. Who remembers? I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah,
78.
Of course, we are going to celebrate the rebirth of Jesus.
Yes. Let's Bring Hell into Heaven and Vice Versa. Early 80s. It wasn't a big hit.
Yeah.
Guess What We Mean.
I think Jason Aaron wrote a story about that.
I think that was the original title.
Yeah.
Guess What We Mean by Huge Fat Hot Rod. I think that was a
Penis is the answer.
Yes, I think that was a B-side off of the Gene's solo album. Yeah. We're Gonna Get in Big Trouble.
That's definitely off the Gene's
solo
album.
That's off Gene's, yeah. You Can't Spell Sex Without S-N-E-N-X. That was on Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits, I think the compilation album.
I think that's actually legitimately a Kiss song.
It's very close. It's very close to an actual Kiss title. But I mean, of course, these are all Kiss titles.
Of course.
My Car Has a Woman in It. The B-side, The Hard Luck Woman.
Yeah.
Does My Spooky Outfit Make You Horny?
Also, yes.
I believe this was attached to Kiss Meet the Phantom of the Park as a...
which is weird because it's a Hanna-Barbera production, but
it
okay.
is, yeah, well, Amber Jeans, parentheses, she stepped on my nuts. Now, this was, I think, something that
definitely makeupless.
It was makeupless era, but what I heard was that Peter Criss actually wrote this.
Oh.
And they were going to put it in the makeupless era. And then they decided... they stuck Vinnie Vincent's name on it, that he wrote it.
Okay.
So that's kind of weird. I think that's why they weren't doing really well.
Yeah.
Mr. Sexual's Day Out. This was for one of Gene's films. This is a solo. This is actually it's not even a Kiss song. I don't know what's on. It's fucking embarrassing. It's on there.
Yeah.
Allow Me to Introduce You to My Nephew the Devil. This was almost on Revenge. Almost on Revenge,
yeah.
But the title's a little too long.
Chris Jericho loves this track.
Yes, they couldn't fit it on the back. I think he came out when he was wrestling in Japan. That was his entrance music for a while. That's Enough Love, Thanks. Paul Stanley's solo album, of course. I mean, who forget? I mean, come on. That's a secret one. If you keep listening to it, it'll play.
Yeah.
Keep Your Socks On, Triple X for socks.
Mm-hmm.
This one has an interesting history to it because Peter Criss couldn't play the drums on this track. It was too complicated for him. So Ace Frehley actually plays drums on this one.
Yeah, it's his debut.
It's his debut on it. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that was on. I think it was on Dress to Kill. I think your
is,
dad
it
has
is.
the vinyl with that misprint where it's actually listed on the back.
Yeah. You can tell because of the thin production value.
The thin production value. Yeah, that's an eBay one. I'm a sex lawyer. Parentheses disbarred for plagiarism.
The Jeff Sessions story.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one, surprisingly, that was written in 1978. Not on any album. It's just on Wikipedia as written in 1978. Blast My Groin with UV Rays. I heard this is one of your favorites.
It's small. Yeah. I mean, Gene's a big, Superman fan, so of course he would write something like this.
What did you think of the artwork where they basically it's like the death of Supergirl, but Gene is holding a dead Paul Stanley?
Yeah, with like UV rays coming out of his eyes as he cries to the heavens. No,
which means that he shot Paul Stanley's dick off with his eyes.
I think after all these decades and all these episodes, I think that makes perfect sense.
But the song originally was titled this, but it became X-Ray Eyes off of Dynasty, which is actually a fucking great song. Hot Hot Smell. Acoustic.
Yes. Yeah.
Weird.
It's their Beth, really.
Yeah. It's them trying to do Beth.
Yeah.
Return of the Stink. Now this one's cool because this is the first song Vinnie Vincent wrote when he came back to Kiss for the Revenge sessions.
But then I think because he writes like lick every surface, they kick him back out.
Yeah, they were like, get the fuck out of here. All I Want Is Belts. This was Peter Criss's first foray into writing lyrics.
Yeah.
Because all he wanted was belts.
Yeah. Those pants don't hold themselves up.
No, I mean, you're sitting down as a drummer, but when you stand up,
hello,
keep
dick.
Jiggling. Yeah. I watched an errant swan dive low behind the dawn-dappled hillocks of County Kildare.
Well, clearly it's off of Music from the Elder.
Music from the Elder. Look, and this isn't even the most up its own ass song off of that album.
No.
But they just changed the title to The Oath.
They do.
It was too long.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll still perform it on the Kiss Cruise.
Yeah, because Gene couldn't remember the title because he's terrible at lyrics. He always forgets them. Now this was cool. This is when they teamed up with Twisted Sister. You all remember this. Folks are screaming in their microphone, in their cell phones right now because they know the title already.
Yeah.
We're the Bunk Bed Demolition Crew.
Yeah.
That was a great video.
Yeah, that's what inspired Step Brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I wish they would have kept that in the movie, but they didn't.
Yeah.
This one was
licensing issues. I think. Yeah.
This one was a bit. This got on the parental advisory thing.
It helped
here.
inspire it. Yeah.
Yeah. Come Toolbox.
That's a CUM for all you listeners at home, of course. Not like come together.
No,
that's
this
perfectly applicable.
This was when Gene. I think he wrote this when he was 14 years old.
He's still 14 years old.
Yeah, and he.
He's the oldest 14-year-old.
He's the oldest 14-year, and yeah, Come Toolbox was.
What do you keep in a cum toolbox? Oh, that's right, the bridge.
The
bridge explains all that.
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, it's a 36-minute song. I think it explains perfectly well what's in there. Yeah.
It's like Aqualung.
Yeah, but it's a Come Toolbox.
You've got Paul Stanley playing the flute.
Yeah,
this is back in the era where he's.
This is Wicked Lester. This is when they were Wicked Lester.
Yeah, but he still, for some reason, has the beret from Music from the Elder,
which is weird because Wicked Lester was 1972.
Yeah.
But hey, Come Toolbox is revolutionary. Never played on the radio though. I don't know. I think it was because it was. I don't think it was because it was called Come Toolbox.
No.
I think it was because it was 36 minutes long.
Yeah.
And they refused. They're artists. They refused to cut even 30 seconds off this beast.
Yeah.
The next song was their foray into punk, if you remember.
Of course.
Hungry, hungry, hungry for your scraps.
Yes.
This one
inspired Hungry, Hungry Hippos
too.
too.
30 seconds long.
Yeah. Yes. It's a thrasher.
It's a thrasher. I mean,
Take that, Misfits.
All the instruments are drums. Pretty cool.
That's all. Everybody plays the drums.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
This was they released this as a joke. This is a joke one. Normal Rock and Roll Party. They thought, hey, let's pretend like we're going to be old one day, and they wore old makeup. They put the makeup back on actually during the makeup era. A lot of people don't know about this. This was a fucking bootleg video.
Like God gave rock and roll.
Yeah. And they're in rock and roll chairs, and they're saying we're rocking and rolling all night because they're rocking in rocking chairs because they're old as shit.
Yeah.
And they want a normal rock and roll party.
They do. Yeah.
So they got one. It wasn't a big hit. This one
it performed well in Japan though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
they respect their elders there.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it did do well in Japan. And Kiss, they do strong in Japan.
Yeah,
that's fair. This one came from a real life event that's actually serious. There's nothing fucking funny about this. My van is on fire. My van is on fire.
That's how they lost their first manager.
Yeah, well, Chris
and their third.
Yeah, yeah. The second one got off scot free.
Yeah,
he was riding off Come Toolbox. But My Van is on Fire came from a real life event. When I got blisters on my fingers.
Yeah.
From Ringo Starr and the White Album. Peter Criss came roaring into the studio, screaming, "My van is on fire!"
Yes.
Song writes itself.
It does. That inspiration struck like lightning.
Yes.
Just how that van caught on fire.
Caught on fire. The first one.
Yes.
Third one was a horrible
Bob Ezrin's kids.
Yes. That's that's where they're immortalized on God of Thunder, which is kind of like a fuck you.
Yeah.
Because it was lightning.
Yeah.
That ended it. Yeah.
Where there's thunder, there's lightning.
It's fucked up, man. Now, this one was helped to raise awareness for hungry children. God Loves a Face Paint Boy.
That's the one they played during Live Aid.
And nobody knows they played Live Aid, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But what Gene did was he said, if we play at the same time Live Aid's happening, we're a part of it. So they played this in...
God damn it, he was right.
They were right. No one saw it.
Yeah.
This came through their crisis of conscience period.
Yes.
Where they were like, should we take the makeup off? Again, this time, though, before Ace Frehley left the band, he said, I wonder if we should rock. Because he heard Music from the Elder. And Gene went, what did you just say? He said, I wonder if we should rock. And he goes, write that down.
And then he quits.
And he quits. And he didn't get any credit for it.
Yeah.
This is another real life event. Too Hot for the Bus.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks for itself.
Sure.
It was too hot for the bus.
Yeah. Touring in July sucks.
Yeah. This one dealt with the Meet My Nephew, He's the Devil.
Yeah.
This was the B side. Actually, this was the C side.
Yeah.
If you remember, they tried to make a three-dimensional.
It was revolutionary, really.
Yeah, it didn't work, but
who would have thought crafting vinyl into a hypercube? But for some reason, it never caught on.
It tried, and the song, of course, we all know, Activities Aplenty in Hell.
Yes.
Fucking great song.
Fantastic.
I think it's one of their better riffs.
The Flugelhorn is particularly good.
The next one. This is the sequel to Dr. Love, folks. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. Paging Bert Fuck. How can you forget Paging Bert Fuck?
I mean,
Bert Fuck, I mean, if you think about it, Bert Fuck
would a rose by any other name smell as sweet?
As Bert Fuck? No, because like if you listen carefully, Animalize is a concept album about Bert Fuck.
Yeah.
They don't say Bert Fuck.
For legal reasons. They found out there was an actual guy named Bert Fuck. And
the coolest thing I think I ever remember on Psycho Circus is one of the art, in the Psycho Circus in the background.
Yeah.
Bert Fuck shows up, drawn, carrying the cum toolbox.
It's the deep
That's
cut.
the fucking. That's like.
That's McCartney walking across Abbey Road barefoot.
That's
even more so. It's the weird license plate.
That's like when Daredevil gets saved by Punisher in the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Fanboy moment. Amazing. She's a Juggler was okay.
Yeah.
It was a B-side off Psycho Circus.
Yes.
Didn't do that well.
Yeah.
One Last Breast became Great Expectations.
Yeah.
The type of volume I like is loud volume.
Yeah.
That
Again,
song
real big in Japan.
Some people still think that song is still like the first time they listened to it was in 1982.
Yeah.
Some people think they're still listening to it. It's so long.
Yeah.
Because it's just Gene Simmons screaming for like 39 minutes. Was it 39 minutes?
Well, we had to check out after like the 15th like chorus.
Yeah. And it's not. I mean, and the crazy thing is like, how do you define a chorus when it's just one scream? But that's because the volume's loud.
Mm-hmm. That's their preferred volume is loud volume.
And I believe this is the song you were talking about that got Vinny fucked up.
Yeah, just fired.
Straight up fired. Gene said, "Get the fuck out of here." Licking all the surfaces.
Licking all the
surfaces. Now, the less said about the song, the better.
Yeah.
I think. It's kind of fucking ridiculous.
I mean, that guitar work, it's
embarrassing. It's a fucking nightmare.
A travesty.
But most of those songs are pretty great. We hope you liked them. Now, one of the reasons we didn't talk about them before is because we knew
they're not on Apple Music.
No. Oh, God, no. Not on Spotify either.
Yeah, contractual reasons again.
Yep. You can only get them on vinyl.
Yep.
And
maybe the Record Store Day will have like an exclusive release.
I've heard.
Maybe they'll bring back the Hypercube.
I've heard rumblings of a cum toolbox.
Yeah.
I've heard fucking rumblings, dude. I'm fucking stoked. If the cum toolbox comes out, I'm buying that shit, and we're gonna fucking talk about that on the fucking episode.
Dude, we'll film a
Instagram story about the cum toolbox.
Yeah, and I'll boomerang.
Remember the first time you hear the chorus? The cum toolbox.
My balls dropped.
Oh my God!
I became a man to cum toolbox.
Yeah. So, anyway, thanks for going down memory lane, guys. But unfortunately, we got to dive into the rest of this.
Yeah, we have to talk about it. Not as good.
Paging Bert Fuck, we will not be talking about. Although, there's a song in here that might be inspired by that. Okay, Hate is the first song we're talking about. Written by Gene Simmons, Scott Van Zen, who we've discussed on the show before, Mr. Bruce Kulick, song by Gene Simmons. So this 97 is when it's released, but it's recorded in 95, 96. Grungy is what they're going for on this one. Alice in Chains is clearly what they're going for on this, but there already is an Alice in Chains. I will say, though, I dig this song. I don't think it's bad. I like it. It's heavy. It's grungy. It's kind of muddy because the production isn't... I think, it's kind of rushed to get this out as an official, the final sessions release, but it's okay. I will say, the champion of this album you're going to hear me talk about a lot is Gene Simmons. I think his vocals lend themselves really well to the instrumentation on this album. I think the instrumentation on this album is fucking great. Mm-hmm. And this is I think this song is what Kiss Evolving should sound like. It's, and I like that a lot. It's a fucking solid track. It's not a Kiss classic, but it's a solid track. Like, I'd love to see them play this song live.
Yeah.
I think they could pull it off nowadays too.
You kind of alluded as much, this track included. When we say like this is a very grunge-oriented album, we don't mean like necessarily like Nirvana, Pearl Jam grunge.
Yeah,
we mean like Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots grunge.
Yes, and
like Cult of Person or In Living Color to a lesser degree.
Yeah,
Living Color.
Yeah, but definitely Alice in Chains. And unfortunately, Paul Stanley's vocals don't work for this album. No, I will say
they do not.
And we'll jump right into the next one, Rain.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
yeah.
What I don't like the long like effectsy. Speaking of hate, and to a lesser extent, Rain. I don't like the long effectsy intros.
Yeah. Me neither. Written by Paul, Bruce Kulick, Curtis Cuomo, who, apologies to him, I was not able to find much about him on the internet. He's a working musician. That's about it. And hey, he got a lot of credit for Kiss songs on this album, so good for you, buddy. I guess he's glad this album got released. Yeah. And sung by Paul Stanley. So again, Paul Stanley's albums or vocals do not work with this. There's one song later on that comes close, but this song definitely, I remember I was like listening, I was like, jeez. It really slugs along. And this song could have been 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 2.5. Bruce does play bass on this one. But this is an example of like Paul's vocals do not lend themselves to the heavy, grungy Alice in Chains vibes. Yeah. Gene's works a lot better. A lot better. It's just fine. So whatever. Master and Slave. Is that a real song? Is that a real fucking title?
I like the way it starts.
Yeah, very cool opening riff.
And then the vocals kick in.
Yeah, again, I found myself when I was listening to it, because again, I had never listened to this album before. Like, I never really heard anything off this album before, to be honest. And maybe Jungle. And so when I was coming through, I was like, I would honestly looking, it was the first time this ever happened, I was like, oh, Paul's singing this one? Jesus. Written by Paul, Bruce Kulick, and Cuomo, not Rivers, and sung by Paul. Yeah. Now, I will say, better than Rain, not great. The instrumentation, though, that's a solid throughout the album. It kicks a lot of ass. The scream he does in this should be cool, but I found myself like embarrassed listening to it. It's weird. Props to the man, though, because he goes for it. He doesn't shy away. He does try stuff, but unfortunately for me, it just doesn't work. And I think he probably was one of the people being like, I wish this album wasn't released. Because it's not, like, again, it's not garbage. It's just his vocals don't work for the instrumentation on this, for the sound they're going for. The next song, Childhood's End. A fucking weird-ass title. Surprisingly not one of the B-list, C-list singles that we just discussed. Written by Gene Simmons, Tommy Thayer, Bruce Kulick, and sung by Gene. So Tommy Thayer is important. You know why? Because he's a future spaceman in Kiss, and he's someone who's going to be...
Though he had been working with them for at least the previous 2 albums?
Yeah, at least the previous one. The previous one he doesn't play on it. I think he might do backing vocals, but like, yeah, he's getting
he's in their
situated
orbit, yeah.
with Kiss. And much like James Bond actors, once you're called on, usually, like, you know, he gets pulled back into it to a much bigger extent. And he is going to be crucial with their reunion because he's going to reteach Ace a bunch of his solos, and he's going to help Peter Criss with some of his drum stuff. I like Tommy Thayer a lot. He gets a lot of unfair shit, and I don't like that. And when I saw him live, he's a fucking great guitarist. Gene's vocals, again, really work on this album, but this song, not necessarily. It's kind of this weird ballad. The melody isn't bad, but it's really dark lyrics about suicide, and it tries to be like clever with it.
Jeremy spoken class today.
Yep. Try to forget this. Try to forget this. Try to forget that. Like, remember that just fucking screaming?
Yeah, I remember that's like every Pearl Jam song.
That video is freaky as shit, man.
Yeah. Again, every Pearl Jam.
When I saw that video, it freaked the shit out of me. That's a great song, though. But yeah, the song could have been. I think the song could have been really great. And I guess talking about innocence and the death of that, and the death of somebody by their own hand. But Gene, I don't know. It's a weird song. Again, they're trying to evolve, and I like it more, the experimentation. But this is like the first draft of an album, even though it's called the Final Sessions.
Yeah. Which was probably just to entice everybody that had like bootlegs. Like, oh, what are we missing?
Yeah, and they get it, and they're like, what the fuck?
Well, I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah, that's classic Kiss on that, though. But the next track, I Will Be There. Guess what, Sam?
Yamo Be There.
Acoustic guitar intro.
Yep.
Yeah. Written by Paul Stanley, Bruce Kulick, and Chris Como. Sung by Paul Stanley. Better vocals from Paul. It's getting better. But overall...
all the time.
Yeah. I can't get no worse.
Yeah, this album can.
Yeah, I can. Overall boring, though. Okay medley. Bruce plays bass on this one. Sam, do you have anything to add to the most popular podcast on any medium whatsoever?
Come Toolbox.
Come Toolbox, baby. So the next one's Jungle, the rousing smash hit single, written by Paul Stanley, Chris Cuomo, and Bruce Kulick, sung by Paul Stanley. It pains me to say this, but again, this one I'm just not digging Paul's vocals. You know, he tries to go for it, but it just doesn't work for me. Bruce plays bass on it, but I will say the instrumentation is kick ass. The riffs and the drum work, I really dig a lot on this track. But again, what song would you have picked as the single on this? You know what I mean? Like, there's really, I mean, Hate. Honestly, I would have picked Hate. Hate's like the one I could see like playing on a radio in like the mid '90s.
Yeah,
but I guess it really doesn't matter. In the end,
it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Oh God. In My Head is the next track, written by Paul Stanley, Scott Van Zen, again, who we talked about, Jamie St. James, lead vocalist of Black and Blue, who is the band that Tommy Thayer was in. He also sang with Warrant. This one's sung by Gene, so we got Gene back. The intro is very metal sounding, and Gene is back on vocals, who again I think should have sung on every track on every track. But as much props as I give him, the song's just okay. There's shining moments on here. I don't think this album, you know, again, we're not at the end yet, but I don't think this album's like terrible. Like, there's some okay stuff. You could put it on.
There is worse stuff that Kiss has done.
Definitely.
You and I have talked about worse stuff
Kiss
has done. It's glorified demos.
Yeah. And you know, I could see myself like putting this on the car and driving around. Not the whole album, flipping through to a couple tracks. Putting it on a mix here and there. It never goes away is the next track. I was thinking from Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage,
which also sounds like a Kiss song.
Yeah, Vampire's Kiss. I don't think they never got super into vampires. Weird enough. Yeah. Written by Paul Stanley, Bruce Kulick, Chris Cuomo, and sung by Paul Stanley. Bruce plays bass on this one. This one's just a straight up boring song. Probably my least favorite track on the whole album. It sounds like they're falling asleep on this track. Really boring. Glorified demo.
Uninspired.
Glorified demo for sure on this one. This one, again, could have been on the list we spoke about earlier. Seduction of the Innocent, written by Paul Stanley, Scott Van Zen, and written by Gene Simmons. Did I say written by Gene Simmons? Yeah.
Yep.
The opening of this sounds like their cover of Then She Kissed Me, the Gender Bend track cover off of Love Gun, which is cool because I like their cover a lot. And I like the original song as well.
Which was used by Jon Stewart in his final episode of The Daily Show.
That's right, yeah. But a classic Gene title as always. This song is weird.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a weird song. But it has momentum. I like the momentum when it picks up.
All these songs are kind of like off in their own way.
Yeah. Again, like the only song I could really point to be like, you could potentially throw in like Revenge is Hate.
Yeah.
And that's almost too forward, not like better, but it wouldn't fit on Hate, or it wouldn't fit on Revenge. But again, the thing that I love about this album the most, and the champion of it for me, Gene Simmons, is his willingness to experiment. I love experimentation. You love experimentation, pushing the envelope. I wouldn't say this is pushing the envelope, but this is like Gene's getting out of the rut. They're in the 90s. They're trying something different, and which is why it pains me, as much as I love that they reunited with the original members, put the lineup, the makeup back on, is it halted that progression.
Yeah, because then they're just like, this is what Kiss is, and we'll just stick to this.
Yeah. And I mean, look, it works. But I would have loved to have seen what an album would have been like the next album.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool solo from Bruce, but he's the man. Props to him, and of course Eric as well. The outro riff's awesome. I like the outro. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. I actually jumped to the next fucking song, so I don't like the outro riff in this song at all. I confess. Which is the next track of the song that I jumped to the fucking wrong goddamn note. This is the one with the cool outro riffage, cool track, and cool solo from Bruce. Written by Gene Simmons, Ken Tamplin, cousin to Sammy Hagar, vocal coach extraordinaire, and has a ridiculous vocal range. Go to his fucking website, and like you look some of the people who he's trained and stuff, interesting stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny too. Sung by Gene Simmons. Now it makes sense because they got Ken Tamplin on this to help write, because Gene's vocals on this fucking song are fucking Take Me to Flavortown. Redonkulous. He goes fucking off on this song. It's cool, man. When Gene fucking like blows up on this song, it's really fucking cool. And I like, again, this is the one with this willingness to really experiment. Works well as well as Seduction of the Innocent. But this song is fucking weird, and this is like, oh man, I would have loved to have seen like Cut Off the Fat, More Prime, Grade A Beef Kiss with this to what it would have sounded like. Grade A Beef probably would have been the name of the next album, probably.
Yeah.
This is the one with the really fucking cool riffage. I see you out there with your rump roast. Let's have it. No A1 steak sauce. Oh, I want to. Could you get? Not to put you on the spot, but maybe we can come up with a couple of Kiss titled tracks of our own by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So you think of that. Anyway, In the Mirror is the next track. Bruce plays bass on this one, written by Paul Stanley, Bruce Kulick, Chris Cuomo. Again, that dude's racking that shit up. And Paul Stanley sings it. Probably my favorite Paul Stanley performance on the album. The instrumentation does work well with his voice, and it's like, cause I think because it's not as grungy and heavy, it's kind of got more of that like cock rocky 80s Kiss vibe to it, which Paul Stanley works really well with. And it's fine. I mean, that's probably his best vocals. Yeah, I would say on that track.
Again, like if you think about it, on some level, Kiss was kind of best suited to like be with cock rock and hair metal to a degree. Mm-hmm. They just didn't quite pull it off.
Yeah, which is fine with me because I hate cock rock. I Walk Alone, sad fucking last track, because it's the first time we get Bruce Kulick on vocals, and it's on his last track of his last album with the band. It's unfortunate because he's out, but Gene and Bruce write the song, it's a song, like I said, by Bruce Kulick. Does an admirable job. Plays bass in the track as well. But I wish Gene sang the song. I think if Gene sang the song, though, all respect to Bruce, it might have been my favorite track on the album. There's that really cool like backmasking like guitar midsection, because the song's like over 6 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't need to be, but like that part's cool. But it's nice, we get some final like great little guitar winks and licks and nods from Bruce Kulick, because one of the great guitarists in Kiss, one of the unsung heroes of Kiss, is Bruce Kulick.
Totally.
I would love to meet Bruce Kulick and shake his hand. Say thanks, man.
Yeah,
he seems like a nice guy from everything else too that I've seen. But overall, though, we kind of ran through this one because it's really not much to talk about.
It's unofficial. It was, or at least that's how it started.
It started, it's an album they made, basically canceled.
Yeah, they shelved it for a reason.
Released out of spite, almost.
Out of like necessity. Hey, we're losing revenue on this.
Yeah. And Kiss doesn't want to lose any revenue. But like I said, overall, a bit of a bland album. Bit of a mess. Not a huge mess, but a bit of a mess. Again, like Sam said, glorified demos. I feel like if we would have had one or two more albums, we would have really hit something really special with this lineup. But luckily we did with Revenge right off the bat overall. Yeah. I would say one of my top 5 Kiss albums in general, including the Makeup Era, including the classic lineup. And we also got them playing on Unplugged because they are fucking tight on Unplugged. Now, I think it's also cool because like they're trying to evolve a little bit, not go completely outside of the box, but change something up. But again, I think we could have got something really strong down the line. Yeah. Like you said, it's really them going for Alice in Chains, but at the time there's already an Alice in Chains that's a much better Alice in Chains. Evolving Kiss would have been better. They know their sound. They know their sound better than anyone else at this time. They've been around for, at that point, over past 20 years. Yeah, past 20 years, and so, like I said, I'm not sad that they reunited. Like I said, I
wonder what if.
Yeah, I was in middle school. They were around everywhere. It was awesome. I just would have loved to have known what could have been. Now let's think. Can we think of any Kiss tracks to make up off the top of our head?
Wind My Crankshaft.
Wind My Crankshaft. How about Honey, Put Away the Lube, parentheses, I Was Born Ready.
Spread Those Cheeks.
Spread Those Cheeks. Yeah. Let's see.
Jump in the Ball Pit.
Plug in My Rod, and I Don't Mean Guitar. Jump in the Ball Pit. Yeah. Off their kids album.
Let Me Clean Your Clock.
Let Me Clean Your Clock. 1, 2, parentheses, You Ready for This?
Do You Like Me? Yes, no.
Let's roll the dice and hope it says yes.
Magic 8 Ball. That could actually legitimately be a fucking...
Well, some of these like legitimately could have been Kiss tracks. Want
to come over and see my pet rock?
C-U-M, of course. Spelled C-U-M. Let's see. Who was some more characters they could have created to put in their songs? Who the fuck else? Paging Bert Fuck is such a great fucking...
Girl, what you doing after jazzercise?
What are you doing after jazzercise? Let's pull over and fuck.
Yeah. Can I put it in Uranus?
Yeah. Uranus, parentheses, not only a planet.
Or parentheses, heavenly bodies.
Heavenly bodies. Heavenly bodies.
No, heavenly bodies, parentheses, Uranus.
Uranus, yeah. Rings of Saturn. They did a whole album just about planets.
Yeah. It only, reached number 26 on the Billboard charts, which
in Canada.
Which can't even get you gold there, gold certification. Yeah. There were so many extra copies in Canada that they would just give them away at Tim Hortons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
So,
but it did spawn, lest we forget, the Canadian only single.
Yes.
I'm Your Friend to the North.
I'm Your Friend to the North.
Yeah.
B-side, Donuts.
Yeah.
That was a classic one.
Yeah.
Kind of sleazy.
Well, there was a space, so it looked like do nuts.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced donuts.
It was Donuts, yeah. With a Z.
Yeah. Yeah. In French Canada, they just call it donut because they don't pronounce the last two letters.
So that's why I didn't do well there.
Yeah.
They did have... Did you ever try one of the donuts that Kiss made from those? The Kiss donuts?
I still have one.
It was like a cruller. Like it was like two fucking balls.
Yeah, I've got the
glaze.
I've got the fucking Eric Carr one. Yeah,
Ooh,
the
man.
Fox. Yeah,
the Fox.
It's a creator item.
Dude,
I'm afraid of
Fox.
If I ate it, I could probably kill a man with it. It's that stale at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Did you get the Ankh Warrior one?
I did. I ate it though, and I got really sick, which reminded me when I vomited of my favorite.
Oh.
Let me exercise that demon, baby. Parentheses, I mean your puss.
Yeah.
Because they didn't spell it out fully because they didn't want to get censored.
With a B-side, Unholy Water with a UN in parentheses. Yeah.
Unholy Water was fucking dope.
It was. I mean, and they got the spoken word intro by William Peter Blatty.
That was fucking awesome, man.
It's
scary as shit.
It is.
It was scary, man. Like, I'm surprised they didn't adapt that into a fucking movie.
They should have. I mean, it was an 80s track, so you would think, like... Kiss was,
Now, do you remember their really controversial track, Uber Bitch?
I do.
They did the comic that didn't do well.
It was with the swastika chicks.
Yes, the swastika because it was after The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. My favorite from that era is "Fly Me to the Moon So I Can Come on Your Back." That's COME, actually.
Yes, yeah. They threw it off the side there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the follow-up album, Re-Entry. And the cover was...
Spacemen. They were wearing the astronaut costumes.
Yes.
Yeah, still in makeup, of course.
Yes. And remember, they had a guy go into space when they painted his visor with the Kiss makeup. Couldn't see, almost fucking died.
Yeah.
Couldn't make his way back into the fucking spaceship.
Which was weird because it was like a space concept album, but they also had a... the album closer was "Let Me Make You Flapjacks."
Let me make you flapjacks,
which was a lumberjack.
That's
number.
how that used to be my alarm when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah,
let me make you flapjacks.
Where they're wearing like flannel in the video.
Yeah.
They've and like Gene is Babe the Blue Ox.
And then remember Peter Criss's? They released some unreleased Peter Criss stuff,
of course,
and it was Donatello is my favorite Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, which is particularly
it didn't do well.
It did not.
I mean, I'm glad someone's favorite is Donatello.
It is. Yeah. And then there was like "Beam Me Up, Scotty."
Yeah, "Beam Me Up, Scotty."
The Ace Frehley number.
I can't find my power cable.
Yeah. What do I do with the penis? Is another favorite of mine.
Yeah. Well, parentheses, human.
Yeah.
Penis.
Human penis. That's a.
They took the.
It's a common mistake.
But they took the human part off of a lot of the European releases. So if you have the European vinyl, there's no parentheses human. It's just what I do with the penis. American. What I do with the human penis.
Remember when they tried to cash in on the Western craze and they had cactus?
Yeah. Oh, man. And it's the fucking cactus with two fucking balls.
Yeah, it's clearly a penis cactus.
Yeah, penis cactus.
It's a penis cactus.
Which, surprisingly, they never had a song called Penis Cactus.
No, but they did have a song called Joshua Tree.
Joshua Tree. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I don't know. There's so much stuff we can't legally, like, really talk about and go into.
Yeah.
Like, these songs are like quote unquote not real Kiss songs.
Yeah, if you still are running Kazaa, you might be able to find them.
I fell into the couch. Can you find me?
Fucking with the top down.
Fucking with the top down. It's too hot in this car. Crank the AC, and the AC looked like fucking like there was like lightning bolts and shit. And it was like stylized. The AC.
Yeah. 2 Fingers or 3. Yeah, that's a winner. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, let us know your favorite Kiss numbers.
Yeah.
That are, excuse me, not Kiss songs.
Of course.
Parentheses. We don't want to get sued.
The ones the unofficial releases.
Yeah.
Or the international exclusives, like "Good Day, Mate."
Yeah.
Fuck me hard.
I'm gonna sue that ass.
Yeah.
And well, it was clever because the character's name in the song was Sue.
Yeah.
Which is weird because she was gonna fuck the jeans. I don't know.
Yeah.
The debates rage.
My personal favorite was Hugh Vagine.
Hugh Vagine.
Yeah. Because it's Hugh, like Hugh Grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is weird because it's like a male-oriented name.
Yeah.
Compared with like, a vagine.
Yeah. Let's drop the tuning. Parentheses pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what they were going for in that one.
Yeah. The other one just like grab my cock.
The weirdest was they had a song called Crystal Pepsi in 1978.
Yeah, they knew.
They fucking knew.
Yeah, but the problem is they had Pepsi in the album or in the song title.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't collect anything when Pepsi actually released Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah.
Sad.
Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah. It's almost up there with their ode to RC Cola.
Yeah. Speaking of cola, I can say this with 100% certainty that it's real. Mm-hmm. This is not fake news. This is real. There is Kiss Cola. It just came out. Like, for real.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, for real. Like, I can say this for real. We're not going to get sued.
Okay.
Like, there's actually Kiss Cola that I've seen people post. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it while listening to Let's Bang the Drum, a.k.a. Your Puss Puss. They weren't clever anymore.
They yeah, well, I mean, once the 90s hit, really.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, King of the Nighttime World.
King of the Nighttime World. Yeah. So, anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Sam, you're a trooper. You're a trooper for doing this.
Again, if you need me for those last 2, you let me know.
I will. I got your number. Look up the number. Anyway, folks, remember, send us your favorite Kiss tracks, unofficial Kiss tracks. Listen to Kiss. Rock all night. Party every day. Mm-hmm. Have a good night.
Bye. This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.